Are you a trickle downer? Watch. Trickle downers, are you a trickle downer? This is going to trickle for a bit. Here we go. Trickling and warming the pot. There it is, it all trickles down. If it gushed out of that, there's about a couple of litres in there, so that would be a gush, wouldn't it? But look, just a tiny trickle to top the pot up. There you go. I want to know, are you a trickle downer? Now, while this lovely brews, and I still love tea, yeah. While this brews, I want you to think, are you a trickle downer? Now, you probably think I've gone mad, but I think you probably get what I'm getting at. Do you believe in what effectively or economically is called trickle-down economics? Trickle down, trickling down, like the tea, like the rain. Trickle-down economics. I think it was Chucky Mark who called it trickle-down, and I'm going to use his phrase, I'm going to quote him because I like it. Trickle-down fuckonomics. Trickle-down fuckonomics. How does trickle-down fuckonomics work? Well, trickle-down fuckonomics works by, there are billionaires. There are naturally billionaires in the rarefied air above our heads. They've been there since time immortal. They've been there since since Pontius was Pilate. Yeah, there's always been these billionaires, these rich people. In some Judean Christian cultures, they've been, if you like, put there by God. Kings like Moses and all that lot, probably in their culture, put there by God, and all that wealth is theirs. Now, what is supposed to happen with trickle-down economics is all that lovely wealth from up at the top, dear old Richard Branson, bless him, Paul Dacre, bless him, the owners of one corporation, Marks and Spencer's, now joining with Sainsbury's, the owners of McDonald's, KFC, the owners of the major fuel companies, BP, Esso, all that lot. All their money is supposed to be at the top, but it will gradually trickle down. Yep. And we'll get it. So there is no reason for us not to survive, because as their money trickles down, of course it makes jobs that we can all get, even if they are on 0 hours contracts, but it makes jobs, and all their big investments trickle down in little bits as they spend their money towards us. Doesn't work like that. Trickle down, rather than thinking of that trickling down from the big champagne glass on the top and just watching all of the champagne go down and down and down, down this sort of flukes of champagne and whatever. Don't think of it like that. Think of it, rather than trickle down economics, as hoover up economics, except I breathed out and they never breathe out. They get what value there is in stuff, and they suck it out and keep it. Now, I've got a bit of a gut on me. Look at this. I cannot deny it, mate. Look. Once I was Mr. Porky, now I'm Mr. Porky too. So there's a bit of a gut on there, yeah? I agree, yeah? But these buggers get an even bigger gut, because when they hoover up all that wealth, they don't redistribute it by buying things. Where does it go? Let's get a few ideas. Tax havens? Tell me, have you got a tax haven? Are you rich enough to have a tax haven? Well, if you are, then I'm sure you know where all that hoovered up wealth goes. It doesn't pay any UK tax, does it? Doesn't pay for the roads that you use, doesn't pay for the infrastructure that you invest in. No, the hoovered up money goes into an investment fund abroad on which no UK tax is paid. Where else does that money go? Well, it goes to vacant properties. I've just been into town to do some shopping and I drove past one near Galston. It's a huge block of flats and nobody lives there. No one lives there. It's empty. An empty block of maybe 100 plus flats, nobody living in it. I wonder who's gaining the interest on that little investment. Yeah? So, it's rubbish. The other term for it, of course, as I've said on a previous video, is horse and sparrow economics. Yeah? I'll just go through this one again because I quite like it. And let me pour some tea so I can show you a bit more trickle. Yeah? Look, here's the tea trickling in. Now, in horse and sparrow, Horsey comes into a big field and Horsey gets fed with loads of oats, grain, all the best stuff, which, you know, comes from the fields and feeds Horsey. Now, Horsey, when he's really big and fit and he's sort of totally satiated and, well, like most of us, he needs to take a dump. Horsey has to do a poo. So when Horsey does a poo, blop, blop, blop. Great stuff for your rhubarb, and you're supposed to believe you're going to grow loads of rhubarb, and of course the little sparrows are going to flitter down, flitter, 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 flitter. I think I said flutter, flutter last time. But they're going to flitter down, they're going to eat all the goodness out of that horse poo. And they're all going to get really rich from that goodness. Bear in mind, that's already been sucked of its value, which the horse has kept in its big, fat horse belly. So, how much nourishment is there in shit? How fat can little sparrows get on shit? In other words, by the time the money trickles down to us, it's lost its purchasing power. The people at the top get the pick of everything because they get the good food shoved down their throat, the good money, the purchasing money, the money that will actually get you something, and they get to either keep it, which they do a lot of the time, or they get to spend it on bloody yachts, villas, doomsday bunkers, houses they'll invest in and never bloody live in, roads they'll build that no one will ever bloody well drive on, factories that they'll just leave for warehouses or whatever, and of course no tax is paid. Yep. So there you go. Do not be deceived. Trickle down economics doesn't work because this last trickle of milk will just reinforce that. Everything stays just like the tea in this cup, and we don't get to drink it. Bye.